Welcome to a special bonus episode of In Goal Radio, the podcast. We've never done this before, but we had a special opportunity this week and wanted to share some news with you. Our good friend Brian Daccord, he was available for a bit of a chat, and we wanted to take advantage of that. As well, our friends at Sense Arena have an incredible deal for Black Friday that we wanted to share with you. And those two things go hand in hand because Brian happens to also be the director of goaltending development for Sense Arena. So a chance this week to hear lots more about what's going on at Sense Arena. But if you've ever wondered about getting involved, this is the time to do it. Black Friday up until November 29th, Sense Arena is offering an incredible deal. If you buy their annual license, which saves you a whole ton of money over the regular monthly licensing, they will send you the Oculus Quest headset absolutely free. You get the headset, you get the controllers, you get the attachments to put them on your goalie gloves. You can jump right into Sense Arena just for the cost of the software license itself. And of course, you get access to all those other great VR apps that are out there for the Oculus as well. But before we hop into Sense Arena, I just want to welcome to the In Goal Radio podcast again, our good friend, Brian Daccord.
Oh, thanks. Always great. I'm a big fan of the show. You know that. So it's always fun to come on.
Yeah, great to have you here, Brian. Our listeners quite familiar, I'm sure, with your resume. Former NHL goalie coach, goalie scout, director of goaltending. You're now the goaltending coach for Boston University, and also the author of How to Be a Goalie Parent and a fantastic new app as well, SIG Gameday. So we can talk about a couple of those things as we go here. But Sense Arena first. Brian, why do you love Sense Arena? What's so great about it, and what's going on in Sense Arena world right now?
Honestly, like what I got to tell you is on my resume way back when, I said right on my first line objective, I wanted to be a leader in goaltending development. And there's no better place to be right now than in VR. I mean, I'm sure everybody's reading about the metaverse and the whole thing. Like it is a field that's expanding and rapidly growing, and the innovations, like it's even so hard to keep up with. It's going so fast, and Sense Arena is right on the cutting edge of it from a goaltending, a training standpoint. So like it's a thrill for me. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. There's just so much that you can do now. And the innovations are just coming faster than you could believe.
And you had a chance to go to the Czech Republic and see what they're up to recently, didn't you?
Incredible experience. It was scary, actually, to see what they could do. I actually, met with the developers, and they were showing me the converter where you could basically take any video clip and within 5 minutes convert it into an avatar drill for you to train. I had a chance to do the multiplayer, which is where, because Sense Arena has a player version as well, not
right.
just a goalie version. They have a player version as well. So goalies will be able to compete against players in real time on Sense Arena, which means you can literally be a goalie in Calgary taking shots from a player in Chicago or Czech Republic or Switzerland, Russia. I mean, it'll be real time where you'll be competing against players, which to me, like, I love the training aspect of Sense Arena. I think it's incredible, the different components of your game that you can work on. But at the end of training, you got to have some fun, right? I mean, you always end up training. You always end up a practice with some sort of game time. So this now gives the goalies that are working their butts off trying to get better the opportunity to have some fun at the end of their workout.
And see where they stand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And hey, speak about see where you can stand. Coming next year in 2022 as well, you'll be able to face NHL shooters. So you'll be sitting in the 360 immersive video, and you'll be mano a mano against NHL shooters. So you can get a real taste of their release, the quickness of their release, the speed of their shots, without getting bonged in the head with a 100-mile-an-hour Chara slap shot. You can see how you can do against real NHL shooters. It's an incredible feature, and that's coming later in 2022.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, isn't that incredible?
No concussions, but I don't know if you heard, I mentioned this on the show once before. My son got hit in the head in Sense Arena, and it was so real for him. He sort of had to stop, take the headset off, and reset himself a little bit. It was a bit of a shocker. That's how real this all feels.
I had the same. I got a high shot. I literally bailed right out of it.
Yeah.
Even though there was no real, I bailed right out of it. Just to tell you how real this is, the first time I ever did it, I mean, you have no idea. You see stuff on the computer or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, that looks cool. When you put the headset on, everything changes. Like you're there, you're in the rink, everything's real. So after my first session with Sensarena, I had the 2 controllers. I turned around and I put them on top of the net.
Oh.
I put them on top of the net. So I dropped them out of my hands. They went crashing all the way down to the floor because there's no real net.
Oh no!
But I'm looking at a blocker and glove. So I literally put my blocker and glove on top of the net that wasn't there. Controllers. That's how real the experience was to me. And that's where I knew. I said, this is something I want to be involved with. And I got involved. Like, I'm director of goaltending development now, but I've been involved since the first time I put it on almost 2 years ago.
Fantastic. How's that work as director of goaltending development? I mean, do you and Bob just sit down and have conversations and brainstorm where we could go? Are they sending you things to review? What's the relationship look like?
Yeah, all of the above. And even better than that, I mean, we have advisors. So Bill Ranford is an advisor. Justin Goldman, which you know very well, is an advisor. Thomas Magnuson, like the guru in Sweden, is an advisor. So we have a chance to communicate, hey, what do we need next? And I'll tell you what it was like. So, like, let's say Bill Ranford. So when I tried the system on, when you would catch a puck, you would get the vibration in your glove, but you wouldn't see the puck. So I'm like, hey, Bob, hey, Bob, I need to see a puck. I can't make a glove save without seeing a puck. 2 months later, boom, puck's in the glove. And then we're on one of our advisory calls, and Bill Ranford says, yeah, it's great you can see the puck, but I need to toss it away because that's what I do at practice.
100%.
2 months later, catch the puck, see it, toss it away. So that's what my excitement about it is the fact that it's endless what you can do with it. And now you've got like the player version where, they're passing and players are sitting in offensive zone breakout or offensive zone entries and exits and neutral zone regroups. Well, I said to Bob, I'm like, hey, goalies, we want to be sitting there with 4 checkers behind the net trying to decide where we're going to move the puck to. So like the innovation is going to come so fast. It's going to be hard to keep up with. But that's the neat thing about the subscription model, right? Every time Sensarena improves, like literally every time you put this on, every couple months, it's like, whoa, there are 4 new releases a year. So there's a new release coming in December, which has what's called the cannon drill for goaltenders, where you can pinpoint exactly where you want the shot, like exactly where you want the shot. So if you're working on shifting, if you're working on funnel tracking, you can get in the butterfly, you can work on higher shot or lower, like there's so much you can do to specifically train what you want to train. So every time you put this thing on, it's a different experience. And then the data collection is just getting, a lot of people don't see what's going into that, but the data is incredible, what you can get out of it.
It's one of the things I love about it is that when you're on the ice, maybe something doesn't go quite right for you in a drill, and you can't say, I want to do that again, because it never comes the same way twice, does it? But now we're getting to the point, sounds like, especially with this new release, that you're going to be able to work on a skill over and over and over again with the same shot, which really lets you correct things, doesn't it?
And it does. And they have the 3D replay feature.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, yeah. But guess what's coming next? Next is you're going to give up a goal. And if you look up at the Jumbotron,
perfect,
you'll be able to see that goal is going to come up and you're going to see it right away.
Just so like you're in the show.
Give up a goal, look up, it'll play the goal, then look back down, and you're back in the drill again.
Love it.
Yeah,
I hope you'll be able to
crazy.
Just also hit reset at some point and just say, give me that shot again. Give me that one again.
Yeah.
Give me that one again.
That's a sick idea. I want the exact same shot, the exact same play, the exact same
until place. I get it right. Because you do that on the ice and you might be there for a whole hour-long session and not replicate that exact same scenario, right?
That's fantastic. So you have an option to hit redo, and it redos the last shot that you had, and you can do it over and over until you stop it and feel comfortable and then move on. I like that. See that? That's the fun part about being involved and talking with goalie experts like yourself. Like, it's just, you get all these ideas, and they can do anything. Like literally they can do anything.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see all this incorporating other teams' forechecks and power plays and so on. I think the ability as a pre-scout tool for goaltenders, it's just going to be absolutely invaluable. Not there quite yet, but coming soon, right?
Next season, I'm telling you, next season, Sense Arena goalies, like, and we already have 4 NHL teams. We're in talks with another 4 NHL teams. The goalies aren't going to watch video. They're going to put the headset on. They're going to watch video in their headset of the power play and then do some reps of the power play. That's what's going to happen. I mean, just sitting down in front of a computer, that's out.
And how, let's face it, just think about learning styles. Not everybody can sit there and watch a video or watch a coach at a board describing a drill, a situation, whatever, and take it in nearly the same way that they'll certainly be able to with VR.
Yeah. And the amazing thing is it literally takes them with their converter, takes them 5 minutes.
Incredible.
Yeah. Incredible. It's scary. Like, I don't know if you've been reading about the metaverse and Facebook having 10,000 employees working on VR alone.
Unbelievable.
But you have the idea now what VR is capable of and where it's going. And it's really tremendously exciting. And then to be able to have this, be in this position, to be in the forefront of getting this to be the ultimate training tool. Like, I can't imagine a better training tool in hockey.
It's incredible.
And you know what? It's not cheap. I think it's like comes out to $66 a month. The new offer, you don't have to pay anything up front for the hardware.
We sort of buried the lead here, didn't we? Sense Arena's got an unreal Black Friday deal going on.
Yeah, it's unconscious. Yeah, the deal's ridiculous. So basically the biggest barrier of entry for a lot of people is just going out and getting the headset and getting the attachments that go with it for Sense Arena. All that gets supplied as part of the deal. It's an annual subscription that comes out to $66 a month. And like I said, it's still $66 a month, but oh my goodness gracious, is it worth it? It's I have a bridge academy with 16 goalies, and they're on Sense Arena twice a week, at least twice a week. They're training on Sense.
Yeah. Well, we've said it on the show before. My son calls it a cheat code for goaltending. He puts it on for 5-10 minutes before he hits the ice, and he just can't believe the difference in his tracking out there. And that's against some really talented shooters.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. Okay. So incredible deal going on with Sense Arena. You also, though, have a great book that I've been into, How to Be a Goalie Parent. Really enjoying it, Brian. I do want to say to everybody listening, I don't think it's just for goalie parents. I think if you're a coach of a hockey team, maybe not a goaltending coach specifically, but even as a goaltending coach, I think if you're a goaltender, maybe haven't been in on some of the latest developments in the game, I think there's a lot of great stuff in there for everybody. So thank you for the book, and thank you for doing that for the community. What do you want to tell us about it? What's coming down?
Well, the two comments I get most is the parents really appreciate the interviews with the NHL goalie parents. Yep. So at the end of each chapter, there's an interview with whether it's Spencer Knight's dad, Chris, or Thatcher Demko's dad, or even some of the girls too. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Katie Burt, the all-time winningest goalie in college hockey for the women. Like, it's so neat. You get to hear from their parents. But I think what I absolutely love is I get these text messages and these pictures, and it's portions of the book that's highlighted. And it's like, hey, I sent this to my son. I sent this to my daughter. Because the parents are taking this stuff and they're like, I don't want it just for me. I want to be able to share that with my kids as well. So that gets me revved up every time I get one of those emails or text messages about that. So I'm really excited. It's gone over really well. And the thing too, for the goalies themselves, it's a great gift for their parents for Christmas. Amazon.com, send it to your door. Like, what a nice little gift for your parents as a goalie.
I hadn't even thought of that. Especially if you've got one of those parents that's driving you up the bend there, goaltenders. You can give them a little self-help book there from Brian. It may help settle some parents down. It may absolutely help settle some of the parents down. Well, we'll have some links up there where people can grab it, Brian. So it's just as a goalie parent now, let's bring it back to Sense Arena here for a second.
Sure.
Because I love that idea of highlighting passages from the book and sharing it. And I've done the same thing with my son and showing him bits in the book or showing him some of our pro reads. Maddie, you got to see this one. It's a great new thing to learn from Braden Holtby or whoever. How, as a goalie parent, would you introduce Sensorina to your son or daughter? And do you just say, here it is, go have some fun? Do you say, here, go do a training plan? Is it different if they're a 6-year-old goalie versus a 15-year-old goalie? Just any how-to for goalie parents?
Okay, so a couple things. When you first go on Sensorina, you do a baseline assessment. It actually tells you what drills you should be working on.
Right.
All right. So that's your first bit of information. And then starting in December, goalies are going to get a weekly plan. So every week, 6 new drills. So the way if I was to advise a goalie parent how to use this, I would just have it plugged in wherever the goalie uses it, ready to go. Before going to practice, 6 to 12 minutes for the pre-practice drills, right? So it's 3 drills, twice each before you go to the rink. Now, once or twice a week, then you do a training plan, which is anywhere from 12 to 24 minutes. So now you've got 6 drills, a minute each. So 12 minutes of total training time, which is going to take you anywhere, from 12 to 24 minutes, depending on how quickly you move. I'm a big believer in doing each drill at least twice. If you've got a day off or a weekend off and you want to go nuts, then it's 6 drills and 3 times each. So if you think about the way that Sensorina is set up and is being recalibrated now that I took over in the goaltending development end. So now it's going to be a warm-up drill, a foundation drill, followed by a skills drill, followed by a game situation, followed by a power play, and then wrapping it up with a cognitive drill. So following that order of 6 drills for your workout, but you said it about your son as well. It's like there's such a value to throwing it on before you go on the ice for practice, before you head to a game. That puck looks so much bigger after you've used Sensorina. Everything's more clearer to you and it's easier to track. And I think that's what I get mostly from the pro guys. They love putting it on before they get on the ice. And then when you have that time, we're busy during the season. There's a lot going on, but maybe you have 2 games on the weekend, a Friday or a Saturday. Hey, on Sunday, give yourself a 12 to 24 minute workout following that order I just discussed. That would be what I would advise to goalie parents.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm expecting it won't be long before I walk into a rink and I see a kid, instead of bouncing balls off the wall and half his gear on, but he's going to have that Sensorina headset on, getting ready to go on the ice.
It's fascinating because culturally, if you go to Europe, that's what you see. It's very common because in Europe, there's so much more structure to the pre-practice protocol. Here in the States, Canada, obviously some teams do a really good job with it, but there's a lot of get to the ring, change, and go on the ice. In Europe, you don't do that. That's just not done. You go there, you have your strength and conditioning guy. He warms up the team, then the team changes. So you see that all the time in Europe. And yes, I see it coming here as well.
I think the opportunity, I know the pros obviously can't do this, but the opportunity for young kids to sort of overclock it a little bit, get in there against somebody who's above their level safely, and get that opportunity to start tracking shots they're not going to see on the ice and slow things down when they get out there.
Well, you think about this, like parents always want their kids to play up, right? Now you get the opportunity to play up without the concerns of the physical, of being up too high, bigger kids, stronger shots, all that stuff. So you get to challenge yourself in that environment without any of the risks. It's an ideal situation to make sure that your goalie is progressing.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, another thing, just to transition here a little bit, it sounds like you're setting some of these workouts up much like you probably would do a private session at Stop at Goaltending. Maybe can't run the power play out there for a young guy, but with your work at Stop at Goaltending, where I know you've trained hundreds and hundreds of goaltenders, many at the NHL level, you now have an app for your goaltenders, which I think is something parents should have a look at, because how many times do we see parents up there in the stands tracking the shot count? I don't think there's a ton of value to that, I hate to say. But your app is much better, and tell us what it's doing that is, again, a game changer for parents.
I think it changes goaltending, to be quite frank with you, because the app is 100% objective. There's no subjectivity. The app doesn't know whether the goalie's 6'3" or 5'2". The app doesn't know whether the goalie's supposed to be the starter, the backup, the third string. Doesn't know whether the goalie is the coach's son or not. It is 100% based on what happens on the ice, and then that gets put out at the end into a report where the goalie can see, hey, what was my goal expectancy versus actual for the game? What would the average goalie would have given up in this game? And so save percentage, goals against average, throw that out the window. You really want to see goal expectancy versus actual. You want to see a game, hey, guess what? I gave up 4 goals. I should have given up 4.7. So you know what? Guess what? It wasn't a horrible night, even though I gave up 4. Hey, vice versa. You gave up 2 and it should have been 3.6. Wow. Hey, I crushed this, so it gives you an idea where you stand, and then rebound control based on possession, glove performance, playmaking, and it all spits out through AI. It actually writes a report. And the nice thing is, from a goalie coach to a goalie, now it's not, geez, I didn't think you played your rebound very well. Now it's, hey, let's look at the numbers. It's the numbers, nothing personal. So there's nothing personal between the goalie's parents. Think about, you get in your car after the game and it's like, hey, Dad, how did I play? Right? So now it's, hey, let's look at the numbers. Yeah, geez, I could have been a little stronger with my playmaking. I could have been stronger with my rebound retention. And my freeze rate, which is a huge number. There was a big article in The Athletic about it last week. But the freeze rate, the ability, how many shots go on net and get killed by the goalie and it's frozen. There's no rebound. There's a huge value to that. So you get to track that as well. So these are all real numbers that a goalie coach can share with their goalie, parents can share with their goalie. And the neat thing is, the best thing ever is now a goalie coach and the head coach can just look at numbers and go, hey, this is where we're at.
Yeah, I think that speaks to the educational value of it. And I think for me, Brian, I really enjoyed the sort of parental aspect that you talked about. But as I got a little bit better using the app and tracking the games, I found it to be an incredibly educational experience, because I had to think about exactly what was happening. And even though I've been involved in the game forever, I never really looked at it quite the way you do when you have to actually assign the various, shots that are happening in the game, and you start questioning, is it this? Is it that? Does this apply? You really see the game differently now.
I did 325 AHL games using the app, and it was amazing. So I do the game, and not watching the game live, or I was doing it on video off of Instat, Sportlogic. Now, the amazing thing is, you get through with the game and you look, and it just, hey, I thought the goalie was shaky. Now you look at his rebound numbers. Yeah. You know what? Your playmaking numbers, like everything seems to make sense. And it does take a little bit of a learning curve. Mm-hmm. You have to know hockey. You have to know what a pass out is, what a 2-on-1 is, mm-hmm. what a screened chip deflection is. So you have to know some hockey to be able to do it. And the more you do it, the better you get at. And the funny thing is, I don't know if this has hit you yet, but now it's hard to watch hockey the same way as you used to, because every time you see that play, that puck come across the midline, you're like, oh, that's a great X.
Yes.
That's a great X. Yeah. And after you've done the app for a while, you realize hockey's about getting grade X opportunities. Grade X means the puck crosses the midline. And for $4.99 a month, you can get a report for every game your son or daughter plays as a parent. And it's so neat to evaluate. I do it at BU. I do every single game. And right from the app, I send it right to my goalie, Drew Comesso, second round pick of Chicago. He gets his game report before he even starts getting changed in the locker room. That's how quickly I send that game report. So Fantastic. So it's not like lying in bed thinking about the game anymore. Everything's like that. And he goes, well, holy smokes, did we give up a lot of great X's today? Or, you know what? Hey, that was it. we had one grade X, one grade A, the rest was B's and C's. Like, it really gives you some insight into the game, and it allows them to kind of let that game go as well in their mind.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's also not sort of absolving yourself of responsibility, right? It's not looking at it and saying, oh, wow, my team was terrible tonight. I can feel good about myself. It's being able to take responsibility for everything you're doing out there.
And it's not personal.
Yeah.
The nice thing is not someone telling you, hey, this needs to be better. Hey, that needs to be better. Or this is really good. It's no one blowing smoke either. Like, these are just the numbers. So you walk out of there and you go, hey, my rebound retention was 84%. That's what it was. So, hey, that's great. Pat yourself on the back.
There you go.
That's awesome. It's not someone just blowing smoke because you made one good, you had one good shot where you had real nice rebound control. No, this is your output. This is what you did for the game. So it takes that confrontation out of that angst, right? Out. It's just real. This is what it is.
Have a feeling we might see a little bit of SIG Gameday stats make their way into Sense Arena after some drills.
Quite possibly. They are so advanced in their stats. It's scary what they're doing for stats and where it's going to go. And you see, hey, you see where it's going just in analyzing different sports, like the baseball apps that we were talking about earlier in the advanced statistics. I mean, that's the way we're going. And it gives us such a clear, when you're talking about facts, it allows you to have a clearer picture of what really is as opposed to opinion. So you have a coach and he sees one bad rebound. Oh, goalie's rebound control was terrible. Well, no, it wasn't. It was 84%. Like, no, it wasn't. Just because you have so often, you see what you see. And when you put it all into perspective with the actual outcome stats, then it really makes sense. And it allows you to concentrate and allows you to steer your training and your focus points where it needs to go.
The impact of technology on the game is one of the greatest things that's happened in the last, I would think, 3 or 4 years. And I can only imagine where it's going to go in the next 5 or 10 years. Having access to tools like whether it's your app or whether it's Sense Arena, which is just so cutting edge, it's crazy, is going to be, it's going to be a really interesting time to be involved in the goaltending world, whether you're a parent or a coach or an athlete.
Well, but here it is for me, Hutch. Like, it's been so frustrating for years with goalie evaluations and opinions about goalies. And that's what I like about the stats. And that's why I made my app totally objective, because I just want to get to the facts. I just want to get rid of the bull crap. And you know what? That kid played good.
Yeah.
Or he didn't play well. Like, that's the bottom line. Forget about whether you like him or her, whether they're big enough, too small, too big, whatever it is. This is just what the outcome. So let's get away from that speculation or that favoritism or the stereotypes or the biases. Let's just deal with facts. And that's where we're getting. And that's why I chose to simplify my app. So it was really easy to digest. Key points, easy to digest. Thanks for coming.
Awesome. I think one of the things that has driven goalie parents nuts for years is sort of feeling like you're on the outside, feeling like there's nothing you can do to support your young goaltender. And now all of a sudden there's more opportunities than ever. And I would suggest that people get their hands on some of these tools, especially this weekend, Sense Arena, because of the fantastic deal, right?
This is the week, the whole week you can do it. Yeah.
The week. Yeah, absolutely. Black Fridays, plural, because we've got this going on here for a little bit. You can get Sense Arena with an annual license. You get the Oculus Quest 2, you get the sleeves to attach the controllers to your gloves. It's just included. It's that barrier, as you said before, Brian, is gone. And now we have that opportunity to get our kids the training that they need, maybe the training they don't see happening in a practice if they don't have access to some of the great coaches like you and your team at Stop It. It's a chance for parents and goaltenders to take responsibility for their training and to add to what they're doing on the ice with some work at home. Just loving what's going on.
We say the same thing over and over again as coaches. Control what you can control. Sens Arena allows you to control what you can control.
Love it. Thank you, Brian, for taking a few minutes out of your day with us. And I look forward to staying in touch and watching what's going on with you, all your work, and the team over at Sens Arena as well.
Thanks so much. Keep up the great work.